Hello there, and welcome back to a rainy August morning in Szpakowo. I'm almost afraid to leave my container because I feel like I'll get pelted with these hail pellets. So before we do leave the container, I want to show you something that I discovered with the employment mod that we were experimenting with in the last episode. Once you have enough experience to move up to the next level in whichever job you're doing, if you look in the top left, the Shift Y option changes to a Shift U and you can do education. Let's just check the weather. So it's going to stop raining by 8 o'clock. So what we'll do is we'll do Shift U. We'll study until 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And then you can see now that we have a little bit of education towards taking the exam so that we can have an education that's suitable for promotion in our job. So that's how it works. That's what we're going to be continuing to work towards outside of our farming. Anyways, the rain has stopped now, so let's jump into our menus and let's see the state of our crops. So if we look at our growth here, our sorghum is ready to harvest, so that's fantastic, and our rice is not quite ready to harvest, so we will leave that. I think that's for next month. So remember when I was saying our long-term ambitions? This was a few episodes ago when we were over harvesting the massive cornfield. I said our long-term ambitions were to harvest the biggest field with the biggest harvester. Well, I completely forgot about the Nexat pack. So that is our new long-term goal. One of our long-term goals is to tend to the biggest field with the Nexat pack, and that includes cultivating, seeding, harvesting, fertilizing, everything that you can do with the Nexat pack. I want to be doing in the biggest field on this map. So that is our new goal. Now, I've just seen that our harvester is low on fuel. I'm wondering if we're going to have enough fuel to do this field. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to run out, so I'm going to head over to the fuel station and get some fuel. Okay, so we went over to the fuel station, filled up our tank with fuel. I also got the harvester repaired, so both of those things cost me around 1,700 euros. Maintaining this equipment is very expensive. Now, I don't know how much we can expect to get from this field, so we are about to find out. Let's do this harvesting. I'll get this done. I will get the grain collected and put into the grain mill, and then I'll come back to you once we're done. Okay, and we are almost done with harvesting this sorghum field, and I'm pleasantly surprised by the yield. I feel like in FS25 sorghum yields same or similar amount as wheat, whereas in FS22 I feel like it was slightly less. But we've definitely got a decent amount here. So we have 9,800 in the trailer and another 1,900 in the harvester, so almost 11,000, almost 12,000 litres there. So that's actually really good. Obviously 9,000 of this is going towards our VIP order. We will take that over to the correct sell point in December or January, whenever the premium price is. And in fact, let's take a look at what the premium, when the premium price is while we are unloading there. So if we look at sorghum, it's going to be up the top under crops. It's just here. So premium price is January, where we get roughly 50% more, a little over 50% more than we would if we sold it today. And where are we taking it for the VIP order? We are taking it to the grain mill. Okay, so let's shut down. Where does the harvest? The harvest needs to go back to the other field, doesn't it? So we'll take it back over to the other field in just a second. Now for now, I'm guessing that I'm not going to be able to empty this because I think we're full here, aren't we? Oh, that's it. That is definitely full now. So we have 3,845 litres. So this gives us a problem because we need the trailer next month for the rice. So what I might have to do is build another silo over on our other field with the money we have. Let's take a look. I'm thinking, based on where our intended field purchases are going to be, which is going to be up here and all these fields along here, I thought that if we kind of slice this bit off of this field and then build another silo here somewhere, I think that would probably work, wouldn't it? So let's do that. Let's go into our sculpting tool. We'll level all this out and then let's take a look at which silos we're going to buy. So we only have 23,000, so I think one of these is 22,000. That will have to do for now. I ideally wanted to buy one of these big ones that can do 66,000 litres, but for now I think we are limited by our funds. I'm just wondering if we might be able to sell that vehicle shed. That will probably be worth about 4,000 or 5,000, so then we could get this one for 27,000. Alternatively, what we could look to do is see what contracts we might be able to do to get ourselves a little bit more money, and then maybe we can afford something slightly bigger. We have a couple of lime contracts. That's just down the field, so I think we'll take that lime contract and we'll do that. And then what do we have in terms of harvesting? We have barley to harvest there. We could do that, but we need the trailer for that, so we need to make sure our trailer was empty. We have wheat there. I think I'm going to do this barley contract because it's a fairly simple contract to do. It's a fairly long field, but a simple field, fairly close to where we are, where we're situated, and that'll give us a nice 8,000 plus a little bit of barley to sell. So I am going to take that contract as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run over to the other field and get the spreader, take care of that lime contract, and then I think I'll sell this vehicle shed, this implement shed just there. That'll get us another 4,500, I think. So that'll put us up to 30-something thousand, and then we can spend 30,000 on a silo, and that will just have to do for the silo for now. And then we can start putting our crop in the new silo and slowly empty that old one out as we gain the ability to do that. I would really like to have enough money to buy a grain mill, actually. That might be a good thing to aim for. Let's drop the fertilizer. So the grain mill is 36,000. Whoa! Thankfully, there's no realistic damage in Farming Simulator. Otherwise, we would have just been spending all of our money repairing our tractor. So as I was saying, I would really like to buy the grain mill rather than just spending the money on a new silo, and that's 36,000. So let's get over to the vehicle store and maybe we'll take a second lime contract. If we look at these two lime contracts as well, Where are they? They're quite far away. That one's over there, that one's over there. Anything else we have? Those really are our only options. So if we did that, I think we probably would have enough money to buy the grain mill, and then that's something towards the things we actually want, rather than just managing the situation by buying a second silo. Because once we have the grain mill, we can dump some of the grain in it that we have, and that can be producing flour for us. So I think that's actually a better idea. So yeah, we'll take this contract as well, and we'll just fill up with the lime. Might need to come back and get a second bag of it on the way over to the other field, but we'll see how much we use in this first field first of all. So I'll take care of these 2 lime contracts, and I will come back to you once we are done. See you soon. Okay, so those 2 lime contracts are complete. We're just getting back to our sorghum field here. I probably should have dropped off the spreader in our other field, but that's okay. We can throw the spreader on the front of the tractor if we need to. So let's take a look in our contracts again. We'll collect this contract, we'll collect this one. How much do we have? 31,913. So let's jump into the build menu and let's see how much we can get for this. So 4423, we'll sell that. Oh, look at that. We have 36,336. We have just enough money to build our grain mill. How is that for convenience? So with the grain mill, I'm not going to build it where I was going to build the silo, because I really do think that's an ideal location for a silo. For now, we may end up building it somewhere different. I think for the grain mill, I really don't know where to place it. Maybe we can just slice this bit off and place it here somewhere. We could have our productions over in this area. I think that might be a good start. Yeah, so we'll do that. So let's grab our grain mill. Where is it? 36,000. No, it's absolutely tiny. We can even just place it over here. I didn't realize it was that small. I knew it was small, but I didn't realize it was that small. So we can just kind of hide it over here in the corner. This is actually perfect. I do want to build some kind of vehicle shed here eventually. That will be perfect for a vehicle shed. So maybe then we'll just put the grain mill like here or something. I wonder if we move our baler and that fertilizer, we can just place it there. Then we're not encroaching on the field. We still have space there for the big long vehicle shed eventually. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so let's jump in our tractor then. Let's go back over to the other field. We'll move that baler and the fertilizer out of the way, and that's where we're going to be putting our grain mill. How am I going to do this? I can't dump it on the floor, can I? I should have left it in the harvester. I don't know what to do now. How can I handle the grain? I need to put another 1,200 litres or so in the silo. Yeah, because we need 9,000. I'm going to sell the sorghum now. It just makes sense, because otherwise we're going to be faffing around here all day. We won't get anything else done. So let's load up the sorghum. We'll sell what we need to, and then we will put the rest in the grain mill. So where are we taking this to for the VIP order? Let's go here. We'll tag this place. 9,000 litres. And let's see exactly where it is on the map while it's filling up. Grain mill. Okay, so it's down that road there. So we'll go all the way down here to the end, take a left, and then we'll be at the grain mill. I don't think I need to take the spreader, do I? We can come back and get that another time. It's not a big deal. Okay, so I will see you over at the grain mill. Okay, so here we are at the grain mill, about to offload our sorghum. So I am going to have the tip side set to the grain door. We're going to be tipping through the grain door. And we're just going to tip out 9,000 litres, and the other 2,700 we're going to take to our grain mill. So here we go, we're offloading, and we can see that the VIP order level 3 is going down, finally. There we go. So we made around 5,000 from that. 5,741 plus 600 for environmental score. And yes, I realise now that I didn't need to do those contracts, did I? Or I didn't need to sell the implement shed at least. Never mind. I completely forgot. Well, I wasn't intending on selling the sorghum. I thought we would be able to somehow wangle it and be tipping, and by tipping it into the grain mill when we built it. Probably could have done, but we needed to sell some and tip some into the grain mill anyway. There's no way we could have unloaded anything else out of the grain mill while we still had sorghum in our trailer. So we just did it in a confused manner and the opposite way around. Anyways, heading over to our grass field now. We're going to move that baler out of the way. We're going to move the fertilizer out of the way, and then we're going to build our grain mill just there on the corner of our field. Where exactly do we want it? I think this is a good place, just here like this. Yeah, I think that's a good place because that can flatten that land out behind the grain mill just there. So just there like that. There we go. We have our first production. Perfect. And it hasn't actually encroached on our land too much at all, so that is absolutely great. Let's hook back up to our trailer. Let's tip the sorghum in there. And then what I think we'll do is... Well, I think the next thing to do is take care of the harvesting contract, because then any excess barley can also go into the grain mill. So let's get this tipped into here. I think it's somewhere around here, the tip point. Yeah, there we go. That's the sorghum tipped in there, so let's start this production. That's our grain mill is this one here. So sorghum flour, we'll change all of the output modes to distributing so it doesn't kick them out onto the spawn point until we're ready to receive them. And wow, this can actually take a lot of grain. Okay, I didn't think it would be able to take that much, but that's okay. So let's activate this, and that can be producing our flour. So next, I think we probably switch off the tractor for now. We can go, in fact, we can send the tractor over to this field here. We'll just tell it to go to the bottom of the field, like maybe there. There we go, and we'll start that job. Okay, it doesn't want to go over there on its own. It needs me to hold its hand. I'm not surprised. Let's try again. Can it go now? Yeah, now it can go. Finicky AI drivers. Okay, let's start up the harvester. We'll drop the header on its trailer. We'll get over to that barley field and we will start harvesting. Okay, so we are just driving across our grass field. I had to drive the tractor over to that other field manually because it got stuck on the roadway because there are bales there and it doesn't like it. So we had to stop the worker, take over ourselves, and now I'm just heading over there with the harvester. I should really have left the harvester trailer where it was at our farm and just driven the harvester over here with the header attached because there's no traffic that's going to get in the way. So I'm actually going to leave the header here and I'll attach to it and drive the rest of the way with the header attached. So I will get some of the harvesting done in this barley field and I will come back to you once we've made a little bit of progress. I'll see you soon. Okay, so we have made it once around the headland, and we're doing the second strip of the second pass of the headland, and we are almost full with our grain trailer. Barley is a very high yielding crop, and yeah, we've almost filled up the grain trailer once completely. So once this is full, we're going to have to go over to Henrik SP and offload it, and then we will be able to continue loading the trailer. And yeah, we haven't made it twice around the headland yet, so this is going to be a fairly large haul. I'm just going to stop here and let the harvester turn the corner. In fact, I'll let it go, finish that strip at the top there, and I'll wait for it to continue coming back down the other side, and then I'll rejoin it to continue filling up the trailer. May as well fill it all up before we go over to Henrik SP. Just checking, it is Henrik SP, isn't it? Yeah, the place behind the vehicle store. So yeah, we will continue on with this, and I will rejoin you probably once we're almost done. Once we've done the headland, probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes to do. So I'll rejoin you once we are complete. Okay, so we are making decent progress on this field. We're just running low on fuel, so I am going over to the vehicle store to top up. Pretty sure I'll probably be able to make it once more up and once more down, but I don't want to run the risk, so I'm just going to go get some diesel now, and then that'll be enough until the end of this contract, and that will probably also last us while we do our own rice field in September. I don't foresee this taking too much longer, and then we'll probably skip through to September and do our rice field. I will try and squeeze this all into the one episode. I think I should be able to. We will see how it goes. And when we delivered the barley to the drop-off point, it said that 42% of it had been delivered. So another harvester load, and in fact I probably could just dump whatever's in the harvester in there now, couldn't I, while I'm over here? It'll probably make sense, even if it's a little unrealistic. I think I'm going to do that. May as well offload it while we're here, and that'll save us won't really save us a trip with the tractor, I don't think there's enough in here to save us an entire trip with the tractor, but we may as well empty it. Okay, so that's that taken care of, and yeah, I think it's not quite enough in there to save us a whole trip. So yeah, 49% now delivered. So let's finish fueling the harvester, And let's get back over to the field and continue the harvesting. I'm wondering how much we'll get to keep for our grain mill. Did we do, I don't know if we've done a large grain contract yet, have we? I'm not sure. Did we do a contract in Zielonka where we had around 7,000 litres of wheat left over? I really don't remember. Or was that here in Szpakowo? Thoughts. I'm really not sure. Anyways, I'll continue with the harvesting and I will rejoin you once we're complete at this point. See you soon. Okay, so we are pretty much done with this barley field. We have around 6,000 litres with a combination of the trailer and what's in the harvester. So let's get the final batch unloaded into the trailer. There we go. And let's switch off the header. Now what I'm going to do with the harvester, I'm going to leave the header attached. I'm just going to drive it over to our rice field because that's going to be ready to harvest next month. I didn't check this month whether the rice field needed to be flooded. I'm pretty sure it doesn't in the month before harvest month, but I should have actually checked that. And we'll check it when we go over there and we'll set that to flooding if we need to. So let's get over there now, and then once we've checked that, we will take the trailer over to Henrik SP and offload what we need to. I think there's only couple of percent left that needs to be offloaded, and then we're going to bring the rest back over to our grain mill and continue producing flour. So we'll park our harvester just here, right at the entrance to our rice field, disconnect the header, switch that off for the month, and let's go over here and check our rice field. No, we don't need to flood it. I didn't think we needed to, so I'm happy that that is the case. So here we are over at Henrik SP. See how much, there we go, so done already. So almost 6,000 litres of barley for ourselves, and that's going to translate into, I think, approximately, it's the barley recipe is 30 to 23, so it's 30 barley to 23 flour, so we're going to get about 4,600 litres of flour from this barley. So depending on how much the flour is, which we will check once we get over there. Just filled up with diesel. Yeah, we'll check how much the flour's going to be worth, and that's going to be a nice extra bonus haul from this field. Also do need to do our gas station shift this evening. Need to not forget that, because I think if you have a full-time job and you don't work the hours, then your reputation goes down and you can be fired from the job. So once we've offloaded this and done our price check, we'll run over to the gas station, complete our shift. We're going to be very tired in September when we're harvesting our rice field, but that's okay. It's just going to be one of those things. So that's almost 6,000 litres being offloaded into there. So let's go into our production here and let's activate this. There we go. That's processing now. We still have quite a bit of sorghum left. And are we offloading this? Yeah, we are. Perfect. Okay, so that's the other thing I was going to check, our prices. If we look at flour, so the top price is 1,038, so 1,454. So we are going to be approximately doubling our gain from the barley, because if we look at barley, top price is 660. So yeah, we're going to be over doubling our gain from the barley there. So we're going to be earning around 4,000 from the barley. So let's collect this contract as completed. That's perfect. Got a nice little contract income there. And let's go over to the gas station and complete our shift over there. Now I will get this done and I will see you in September. Okay, so it's September and we've just finished our gas station shift. It's 4:50 in the morning. Everything's peacefully quiet, and there's not really any point in going to bed now, is there? We may as well just jump in our harvester. Let's take a look at the rice, see if it's ready to be harvested, and if it is, we may as well just crack on with it. Yep, we're ready to harvest here. Our grass is also ready to harvest, or mow, as the case may be. We'll take a look at that. We'll leave the grass until next month because the growth stage is 3 of 4. We do also need to spread fertilizer on the grass, so maybe we'll do that quickly first before we start harvesting. I think that's a good idea, just so that we don't forget to do it later. And harvesting is one of those big jobs that you generally don't forget, but something like spreading is easily forgettable, so we'll take care of that first of all. Let's quickly check our production actually to see how that's gone overnight. So sorghum, we are running a little low on the sorghum. Once it's done, we will stop producing it. And so far we're on 1,456 litres of flour. When did we start producing that? It's probably around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, so not terribly great. However, what I should have done, and what I will do, is go back over to the trailer, take it over to our silo, and dump a bunch of wheat in the grain mill as well, because we have a whole ton of wheat in there. I think we have about 14,000 litres that we can throw in there that's surplus to our VIP order requirements. So let's do that. We can take the... yeah, it doesn't matter. We don't need to disconnect the front loader. We can bring the spreader back here on the front hydraulics of the tractor. So that will work. Okay, so here we are back at our grain mill with our surplus wheat. We've got 13,319 litres here. It's about 800 surplus in the silo. I wasn't going to try and play around and get it more accurate. It just wasn't worth it. So let's get this offloaded into the grain mill. And let's get our wheat flour production started. So that's that activating as well. So we have a decent combination of everything producing flour now. And we can disconnect from the trailer. And let's dump our lime here. And let's disconnect this. We'll spin ourselves around, connect it to the back. Pick up the fertilizer and do a quick lap of the field. Hoping there's going to be enough to do a full lap of the field. We will see. Let's make sure we get the right one here. Yep, we did. So I don't know if there's enough here. but we're about to find out. It's only 150 litres or so, it's probably not going to be enough. Anyways, I'll continue with this. I will start the harvesting on the rice field, and then I'll come back to you once that is complete. I'll see you soon. Okay, so we are almost finished with the rice field, and we have gotten a very good yield off of this field. You can see from the yield map in the lower left, got at least 100% on pretty much all of the field, and there's some areas there where I'm seeing the bar in the top left got up to 130 like it is there, 129%. So really good yield off of this field. We've gotten 3 full, pretty much full harvester loads, and another 15% of the 4th load. So let's get this offloaded into the trailer, and then we'll see how much we got in total. And all of this is going in our grain mill to produce rice flour. Now, does rice flour have a different price to regular flour? I know it's a different product, but does it have a different price? We will see. So let's get our harvester. Don't foresee us using it again this year. I'm planning on spending most of September studying for the promotion in the job, but we'll see what's available. If there's another grain harvesting contract available that we can put into our grain mill, I might consider doing that. We will see. Let's go and check our production. So we'll start off the long grain rice producing. And now we've got 4 productions going right now in here. Hoping we get a decent amount of flour coming out. I think the rice flour is going to be pretty slow. So rice flour is actually 1954. So that's actually pretty good down in December. So we're going to be able to sell some of that for a very decent price. That is opposed to if we sold the rice, the maximum we get is this month 1,000. So basically doubling our money with rice. Okay, so what is next? Let's take a look at contracts to see if there's anything that is lucrative. If there's a decent farm, if there's a decent harvesting contract, I might take that. It doesn't look like there is, no. there isn't anything harvesting wise. There's a big lime contract over on field 111. I wonder if that's worth doing to get ourselves 10,000. The next thing we want to buy is the sprayer. I think that was the next thing we kind of decided, isn't it? I think it might be worth doing that lime contract just to start working towards that target of 45,000. So let's take that and we'll head over to the store, pick up some lime and take care of that. Okay, so that is the lime done on this field, so we can collect that contract. And as I mentioned, I think we'll probably just spend the rest of the month doing our gas station shift, and then we'll take a look at the studying, see how much study time we can fit in between now and October. So let's get back over to where all of our tools are. Can't really quite call it our farmyard because we don't really have a farmyard at the moment. We will get there though, don't worry, we will get there. Let's drop off the spreader. I think we're going to be needing that for a couple of months, maybe December, January time, when we need to lime our fields again. Let's switch off the tractor and let's head over to, let's first of all collect that contract. Okay, so that's 9595, that's not bad. And let's head over to the gas station and we will put in our 10 hours for the day. We'll do our work and then we'll do 10 hours. And then we'll go home and study like a good little student. Okay, so that's our hours put in for the month. So let's now go to our little study container and take a look at this. So we do that and then we can study through till 7 AM, and so I will take care of this, but I do think this is a great place to leave this episode. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you're enjoying following along. If you are, of course, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will hopefully see you in the next episode. Until then, bye for now.